I was watching a college basketball game on TV, part of the annual NCAA tournament. It was pretty late in the tournament, the third or fourth round, in the second week. My brackets were completely busted, and I don't remember who was playing. At that point, after so much action, it begins to blur. For some reason, a commercial I'd already seen 1,500 times in the past week, or because I was losing interest, I changed the channel to a golf tournament. Now, I can watch golf on TV, but it's a little like watching bowling on TV. I don't think it's good for your mental health. I think it might be possible to flatline mentally while you're watching golf on TV. But, worn down by all the basketball, or wanting to avoid that commercial I'd seen 1,500 times that week, I stayed with it long enough to notice that one of the announcers was a guy named Jim Nantz. If you watch any sports at all on TV, you know who I'm talking about. Jim Nantz does a lot of announcing on TV. He's everywhere. They use him like whipped cream on desserts. So I noticed dimly that Jim Nantz was one of the commentators for the golf tournament. Nothing surprising about that. As I say, he does a lot of events, the big ones. But something was eating away at me. An idea was struggling to form in my brain, which at that moment was resisting the formation of anything because it was flatlining. But I kept at it because something was bothering me, and then it hit me. Wasn't Jim Nantz one of the announcers for the basketball game? I flipped back to the game, and sure enough, there he was. Jim Nantz was one of the announcers. Nothing too surprising about that. He does a lot of... But wait a minute. Something was wrong. If he was announcing for the basketball game, how could he be doing the commentary for the golf tournament? I switched back to the golf. It was Jim Nantz, all right. But that was clearly impossible, unless there was some kind of rain or electrical storm delaying the golf tournament and they were running tape of last year's tournament. That had to be it. I watched for a while. No, I knew enough about the tournament from reading the newspaper, which I still do, to know that they were playing in real time, and that was definitely Jim Nantz doing the commentary. Back to the hoops. Again, unmistakably, it was Jim Nantz. I gotta tell you, they had me. This was more than my poor flatlining brain could handle. I was thinking of time delay, that could be it, but then I checked and both tournaments were being held in the same Eastern time zone. So it was impossible. I switched back and forth again. But true, Jim Nantz was working two events at the same time. Hell, I thought, I'm losing my mind. What little was left of it. I called the New York headquarters of one of the networks, and it took some doing, but I finally got a live human being on the phone, a young woman who refused to identify herself, except to say that she was a spokesperson for the network. I called her Cindy Lou. I explained my plight to her. She said, "You're not going crazy, sir. He is, in fact, working both events." "How is that possible, Cindy Lou?" I said. "Aren't they both happening at the same time?" "Yes, sir, they are," she said. "I'm afraid it's our fault. You see, we did not anticipate that anyone viewing the basketball would ever switch over in mid-broadcast to golf, and vice versa. No one watching the golf would interrupt to check on the basketball. We ran the numbers, and mathematically speaking, it's a near impossibility. And if, in your case, someone ever did switch over, we were assured by our research department that individual, you, sir, would never be able to put two and two, or in this case, one and one together, and come up with two Jim Nantzes." "What are you saying?" I said. "Are you telling me there are two Jim Nantzes?" "Actually, sir, there are three Jim Nantzes," she said. "We have two to work events simultaneously if the need should ever arise, as it did today, and a backup." "Three Jim Nantzes," I said, stupefied. "Yes, sir," she said. "Are you putting me on, Cindy Lou?" "No, sir," she said. "You can see two of them for yourself." "Right. So, Jim Nantz is really triplets, identical triplets?" Cindy Lou laughed. "Well, we may have helped that along a bit," she said. "How?" I said. "We have a genetic engineering department," she said. "It's very hush-hush." "You're telling me that you made Jim Nantz," I said, "three of them?" That's about the size of it, sir. How many other announcers have you made? I said. I don't think we're prepared to go into that discussion right now, sir, she said. I hope I've answered your question. I rang off and went back to the TV. The basketball game was coming to its stunning conclusion. Jim Nantz, with the crowd howling in the background, was doing the announcing. I switched over to the golf. Somebody was lining up a putt that could put him in a tie for the lead for the tournament. The commentator, speaking in hushed but awestruck tones, was Jim Nantz. More than this I cannot tell you. Make of it what you will.